very much, Mr. President.
Is it connected to the motion?
I just need to state for the record regarding the statement of Senator Cayetano that there was no agreement that the subject matter of this privilege speech I made last Monday was the same and covered by the subject matter that was heard by the Committee on Justice. I maintain that those are two separate subjects, and that justifies the referral to the Committee on Public Order.
Thank you, Mr. Cayetano is recognized.
President, first of all, may I just salute my colleague, Senator Gordon, and give him a hug.
Lights.
Mr. President, may I just state for the record so we can diffuse the atmosphere, he is not my type, but because he's a senator, I'm willing to be hugged.
No, I know this is a very emotional issue for everyone, and at stake here, Mr. President, is not just the integrity of the Senate. There is obviously a group in the Philippines that want the Senate to be a part of the removal of the President. There's also groups who want to protect the President, and there are, I assume, 24 senators who does not care about removing or keeping the President there, but cares about the truth. And I think that is the speech of the gentleman from Olongapo, no? Who served long and dignified, and I've disagreed with him a lot of times. I've been in that podium and he's been here, but it has always been decent. It has always been in accordance with the rules and the traditions of the Senate. So let me just make this point, Mr. President. I was looking at the journal. So Senator Trillanes moved that it be privilege speech be referred to the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs. In the onset and in appearance, parang walang problema doon. But alam naman po natin, and during his conference, he said that he will have a manifestation to reopen. So alam na natin na pag sinabing reopen, yung committee na meron original jurisdiction, yun ang magre-reopen. That has been the Senate tradition. That is in our rules. In fact, when a speech has been given, a resolution has been filed, a bill has been filed, there are several here who have been majority leaders, Senator Soto, myself, of course, Senate President Trillanes was Senate President for a long time. Senator Miggs, Senator Kiko here was a majority leader. Once it is given to that committee, the only way to release that from the committee is to get a signatures of, if I'm not mistaken, 1/5 of the committee, five committee members, no? 5 committee members. I stand corrected. So this did not happen here, and it might have been oversight. But I could see that Senator Soto was sensitive enough in his manifestation to say, okay, since there are no objections because he has to follow the plenary, we will give it to the Committee on Public Order, but we will inform the Committee on Justice and Human Rights because the issue is related to the report the committee came up with. In fact, that was a very polite way of saying it because it's not only related. It is basically the same thing. The Las Cañas or the speech of Senator Trillanes goes into exactly what the Committee on Justice and Public Order was investigating. So, dun po sa mga baguhan sa Senate at sa mga kababayan natin nakikinig, bakit ginamit ni Senator Dick yung sinampal siya dito? Because po, never natin ginagawa dito sa Senado na alisin ang jurisdiction sa committee mo. And never natin pinagbobotohan yon. I'm sorry, I might not have the moral ascendancy to speak about it that much because I wasn't here yesterday. I was meeting some guests, some diplomats and some foreign investors. But the situation now is we have to ask ourselves, do we want to throw the rule book into the wastebasket? Do we want to take away the traditions of the Senate na kung sino chairman, siya magde-decide? I haven't made up my mind whether or not we should hear it again or not. part of me wants na, sige, papendin natin kasi nungalingan naman yun, magigiba naman yung kanyang testimony. But the other part of me is, yung sinabi ni Senator Dick, ba't natin aksayan ng panahon natin? Yung OFWs, yung pensioners, yung senior citizens, you know, some people here keep pointing to the ombudsman. Dapat yung ombudsman. So, why not let Las Cañas go to the ombudsman and do his job? That's what I'm weighing, no? But, I return to the basic principle. We respect the chair. And my chair in the Committee on Justice, that's why it's called our committee. It is not Dick Gordon's committee. It is our Justice Committee. But he is our chair. So why not allow him to make the decision? Now, it's up to you, my dear colleagues, today, to make that decision. But if you decide to overrule Senator Dick, I will be here more often, and that is a threat. And why will I be here more often? Because there are a lot of bills that I want to take up. One of them is the ERD, Emergency Response Department. Because ang daming nasusunugan, ang daming binabagyo, and hindi ko tingin na kaya ng NDRRMC, and that is with Senator Trillanes. He has a counterpart bill, so hindi ko naman sasabihin na hindi niya gusto ito. But kung ganyan mangyayari, edi araw-araw, 24 tayong tatayo dito na mag-speech at magmo-motion na yung committee na yon, eto i-take up. And then magko-caucus tayo. Eh bakit pa tayo magko-committee system dito? Buwagin na natin lahat ng committee on the whole na tayo parate, mag-decide na lang tayo dito araw-araw through caucus kung ano uunahin ng Senate. Or, we can go back to the traditions of the Senate, which is, we talk to the chair, and we allow the chair to decide. If we do not have faith in our chairman, let us be honest enough, have the integrity enough, have the courage enough to go up to him and say, Senator Dick, we do not have confidence in you. But wag natin pong sampalin. Kasi hindi natin ginagawa sa Senado yon. Hindi ko tingin na yun ang intensyon. And to be fair to Senator Soto, our majority leader, ang balita ko ilang tao na lang nasa floor, wala naman pong nag-object, and I see his wisdom in putting it here. We will inform the Committee on Justice. So now we have heard Senator Dick. I have heard him loud and clear. If he is now saying, I will hear it, I will support him. If he is now saying, I will not hear it, I will support him. Because I have faith and confidence in him. Now may I hear from my colleagues here, do you have faith and confidence in our chairman of the Committee on Justice? Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. President.
Just a point of clarification, Mr. President. I did not say sampal ito sa akin. Ang nagsabi po niya na si Senator Lacson. It's not personal to me. And I thank Senator Lacson for thinking in that fashion, because he may take it that way, but I don't take it that way. I rise and fall on what I do. And I would not think that my colleagues will deliberately, euphemistically slap me in the face. And I'm sure they will be courageous enough to say, I do not agree with this. But a lot of us signed that report, and it's there. And again, I reiterate that we should really act on that. And if you don't want to act on that, I will understand. Senator DeLong said the other day, yesterday, there is newly discovered evidence. Newly discovered evidence has to be studied. And if this is newly discovered evidence from the same source, it has become a polluted source. Because he has lied. Going out in public, invoking God, invoking everybody in public, he's lied. He admitted to it. Mahina nga Secretary of Justice. Dapat perjury na yan. By the way, I took the case of perjury to Mr. Bulante when I was Blue Ribbon. Unfortunately, the Department of Justice did not move. And that is the problem, Mr. President. We must make decisions. I am able to stand up here. I am not afraid of the opprobrium that I may suffer from all the trolls. I don't make my decision based on trolls or based on what people say. It is just me and my conscience. And if I fail, it is me. I will not blame others that I made the wrong decision. I will only take it upon myself to say, and be man enough to say, I made the wrong decision. But, Mr. President, the fact that I'm here says that I cannot sit quietly by and allow what I call madness, if I may. The stampede, the herd, the popular appeal, the flashes of new lawyers coming in. My gosh, Mr. President, I am called to make that decision. I've already made mine, and if it is going to be referred to me, I will not hear this man. I will recommend to him and advise him, go to the ombudsman. You have lawyers. Go there. Because hindi ka na namin papaniwalaan dito eh. Ako, at least I speak for myself. I will not believe him. Now, unless there's new evidence, fine. Then, the Senate, in its rightful duty, can refer it again to whatever committee they may see fit. And so far as I'm concerned, Mr. President, from day one, I said, go to court. You miss your chance. You missed the boat. You were privileged to come here. Nobody poked a gun at you. We listened to you intently. You even went against Matubato. And now this. So, Mr. President, I will leave it at that. I just wanted to unburden myself here. I don't want to bear any ill will upon my peers here. I'm in the last quarter, if you will, of my life, and that's being ambitious. I've seen many, many days here in the past. I've seen the rise and fall of leaders. I've seen our country sometimes go up and then go down. Turn another route instead of going to development and progress. Mr. President, I'm not going to change. I'm not ready to change. I will always stand up if I feel I need to stand up. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, there are many options for the Senate at this point, and I will move for one of the options. I move that the speech of Senator Gordon and the interpellation of Senator Cayetano be referred to the Committee on Rules, and we will study further how to address these points that they raised. We'll take special note of the manifestations, Mr. President. So move.
Any objection?
Mr. President.
Senator
Mr.
Cayetano.
President, may I just add to that referral a point of order that can also be referred to the Committee on Rules, that the proper procedure was to give it back to the Committee on Justice. Now that it has been clarified that the substance and the topic is the same investigation that was with the Justice Committee. Again, I'm not making a decision now, but throwing it to the Committee on Rules. And thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, just
Gordon.
a statement. I would just like to thank the Majority Floor Leader. Far be it from my mind to say that it should be referred to any committee. Like I said, I just want to unburden myself here. I want to be able to come here and be able to look everybody in the eye and say, you're my friend, and I trust you. And that you are for my country and you're for our country.
Yes, I agree, but Mr. President, the points that were raised are very valid. And I think the
want to study
Committee on
them?
Rules should look into these matters.
I bow to the wisdom of the Majority Floor Leader, Mr. President.
The motion has been made by the Majority Leader to refer the privileged speech of Senator Gordon and the interpellation thereon of Senator Cayetano to the Committee on Rules. Any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President,
Senator Cayetano.
I apologize to Senator Trillanes if I made it appear that there's a consensus. What I meant is that it seems obvious to me, and I thought it was obvious to everyone, that it's the same. But we have to defer to each other and decide collectively. So precisely, let's give it to the Committee on Rules to decide. And then lastly, Mr. Chair, yung sinabi ko naman sampal po kay Senator Dick, I was talking about sampal sa ating committee system and not to one senator. So I hope that we can seriously consider the implications if we're going to take another route. Thank you, Mr. President.